In 2001, the Milwaukee Bucks advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals and waited to see who they would face. The Raptors and Sixers needed to play Game 7. Sixers won by a point. 18 years later, same scenario. The Bucks are in, and the Sixers and Raptors will square off in a decisive 7th game. But unlike 2001, this one will be in Toronto, where the Raptors have taken 4 out of 5 from the Sixers this season, 2 out of 3 in the series, and have held Philly to just under 93 points a game in that gym. You're Joel Embiid, and you're on the road, and it's Game 7. What's your mindset?
Well, the youngsters need to understand that when we criticize them, we're actually giving them the answers to the tests. See, some of these guys are so sensitive, they don't really hear what we're saying. I learned not to complain because my father's a military man. You ever heard of Walter Reed Hospital?
Yeah.
So I go to Walter Reed Hospital. He used to take me there every year, and I see amputees and these guys. These guys wanted to go back to war. And on the way back, he said, son, you should never complain. You make a lot of money, you do a lot of things, you should never complain. And as I go back to when I was younger, watching all the other players, I never seen the other greats complain. You never said, you never heard Michael Jordan say, oh, I have the flu. I'm like, he just came out and he performed. He got 45 points. So what we're saying is, you're a young guy, you make a lot of money. They're going to say you lost because you didn't play well. So don't
Maybe
complain.
that close to game time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, right before the game. Kick off at less than a half an hour. Yeah. He's eating. That's interesting.
Interesting.
Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find. I've always said he's a hell of a player. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the greatest ever. If he can stay healthy, the verdict's still out on that. But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when I bragged about him and Ben Simmons a few years ago, saying they're going to be the future of the NBA, he didn't call me and say, hey, Charles, thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Happy Mother's Day to you. So, Toronto wins this game if, Kenny?
They control the pace. As much as Joel Embiid has been the focal point of what's going on, because the pace of the game, he still was able to get guys into it. And if Ben Simmons doesn't do that, and Kawhi Leonard slows him down, it will be curtains for the Philadelphia 76ers.
One of the things that we talked about before the series started was looking back at the regular season and Ben Simmons, the trouble he had when Kawhi Leonard checked him, and he had like 8 turnovers per game. There have been 3 games in this series when Leonard's been on him for at least 25 possessions in a game, and Simmons has not turned the ball over in those games. How about rebounding? Because Kyle Lowry says it, Marc Gasol says it, Nick Nurse says it. He says you cannot let Philly continue to dominate the boards. That's going to be the key to the game. What do you say?
Yeah, I do think it's going to be the key to the game. But, to add on what Kenny is saying about Philly, when you're on the road, you as the 2 main players, you have to make the others feel comfortable. If you just come out and play your game, as the game goes along, the others will be more comfortable because it's going to be a hostile environment. Toronto's going to have their runs, but if Embiid comes out and plays like he played in Game 6, and Ben also gets in double figures and get rid of those triple singles, they have a chance.
Can Philadelphia win this game on the road?
Oh yeah, they can win the game because it's going to be interesting.
But will they win the game?
Obviously, I don't know the answer to that. If you're going to make me hold my feet to the fire, I'm taking the Raptors. But to me, it's going to come down to the role players for the Raptors. Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, because I don't think Brett Brown's going to let Kawhi get 35 to 40 points. I wouldn't if I was a coach. I'm going to make those other guys beat me. Kawhi's not going to get 40 and beat us.
So you're going to double team him?
Yes, I am. I'm going to make those other guys make plays. As for the Philadelphia side, to me it's going to come down to Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. That's what they were bought in for. Philadelphia got this far last year with Embiid and Simmons. They bought in Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris for this Game 7. And on the flip side, this is what Toronto bought Kawhi Leonard in. This is what you bring a superstar in for a Game 7.
And there's a big picture scenario on this too for Kawhi Leonard and for the Raptors.
Listen, I hope Toronto's my favorite city. I hope he stays there. But I think this is more because if Kawhi Leonard leaves there, I think it'll be the end of basketball in Toronto personally.
Well, I would add this. LeBron James has left the Eastern Conference. The Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis has said, we're taking over it. We're going to take it over. These are the other two teams who were primed to take it over, along with Boston. Boston has fell off, and these are the teams. So now you have to say, if you can't get there without LeBron being there, you'll never get there.